The instant you catch yourself explaining why you matter to someone, the battle is already over. The moment you feel the urge to justify your value, you've handed away your leverage. Stop speaking, stop typing, stop searching for the magical sentence that will finally make them understand. It doesn't exist. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is the severing of the cord. When you walk away without noise, you're not just exiting a relationship, a situation, or a power struggle. You're collapsing the entire illusion they had over you. You leave behind something far more dangerous than anger. You leave behind uncertainty. And uncertainty eats people alive. Most men confuse power with volume. They think it's yelling. They think it's the final argument. They think it's slamming doors and dropping ultimatums. But the most unsettling move you can ever make is absolute, emotionless stillness. In this video, I'm going to show you how silence becomes leverage, how absence becomes dominance, how walking away without explanation rewires the other person's mind. But first, something inside you has to die. The part of you that wants to be understood, the part of you that needs validation, the part of you that begs to be seen as good enough. You must be willing to let them misunderstand you. Because by the time this is over, you'll understand the art of the ghost exit, and once you master it, you will never chase another human being again. But understand this now. This path is not for the emotionally fragile. This is the shadow side of Stoicism. There is a sound that follows people for years. It's not shouting, it's not crying, it's not the sound of rage. It's the soft click of a door closing without drama. When you fight, when you argue, when you send that emotional paragraph at 2:17 a.m., you are feeding them. You're handing them information. You're confirming that they still matter. To their nervous system, your anger is still attention. Your pain is still connection. As long as you're reacting, they know they're still the center of your world. They feel secure. They know where they stand. But when you disappear, when you withdraw your presence without warning, you trigger panic. Human beings are wired for connection. For thousands of years, silence from the tribe meant exile, and exile meant death. So when you walk away quietly, you aren't just ending something. You're activating the amygdala, you're creating a vacuum, and the ego cannot survive in silence. If you leave through conflict, they can demonize you. They can say, he was unstable, he was emotional, he was toxic. That story protects them. But when you leave without explanation, you deny them the villain. And without a villain, there can be no victim. And without a victim, they are forced to look inward. That's the mirror they can't stand. That's why weeks later they resurface. A message, a reaction test, a breadcrumb. They don't miss you. They miss the noise that drowned out their conscience. Do not give it back. Now let's talk about desire. You've been told to communicate everything, to expose your emotions, to lay your heart on the table. That advice destroys attraction. Desire requires space, mystery, distance. Think carefully. Do you crave what is begging for your attention, or what feels earned? When you over-explain, chase, or plead, you broadcast scarcity. You announce that your value depends on their approval. Attraction dies instantly. Walking away in silence is the loudest signal of self-respect. It says, my standards are not negotiable. You failed to meet them. I will not bargain with my dignity. Women are instinctive. They detect desperation immediately, but they also detect restraint. A man who exits without words becomes a question mark. Why didn't he fight? Did he stop caring? Was I replaceable? And here's the psychological truth most men never learn. The mind obsesses over what it cannot resolve. The more they think about you, the deeper the imprint becomes. Even confusion is investment. You're no longer flesh and blood. You're an echo, and echoes last longer than arguments. In negotiation, the one who needs the deal least holds the power. Relationships are no different. Most men negotiate love like beggars, listing sacrifices, loyalty, effort. Stop selling. When disrespect repeats, you don't renegotiate, you don't threaten, you don't explain consequences. Ultimatums reveal attachment, execution reveals authority, you leave. and the absence does the talking. People never appreciate oxygen until it's gone. Your attention was air. Your silence removes it. And suddenly, they feel the weight of everything they dismissed. Your silence isn't punishment, it's consequence. Now, important distinction. There is a difference between manipulation and stoic withdrawal. The silent treatment is a tactic fueled by need. You ignore them, but stare at your phone. Stoic silence comes from acceptance. You've released control. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like the one who wronged you. If they are chaotic, you become grounded. If they are loud, you become still. If they are reactive, you become immovable." Indifference terrifies people more than anger ever could. Anger says, "You matter." Indifference says, "You no longer exist here." A fire still has heat. A blackout has nothing. Be the blackout. When you leave without confrontation, something strange happens in their mind. There is no distraction, no narrative, no excuse. They replay their own actions, the disrespect, the lies, the moments they cross the line. Your silence becomes an echo chamber, and guilt has nowhere to hide. They'll distract themselves. Parties, rebounds, noise, but in quiet moments, driving alone, standing in the shower, lying awake at night, your absence screams. Here's the forbidden truth. You don't need to punish anyone. Just let them sit with the outcome of their choices. Closure is a myth. You don't need their explanation. Their behavior explained everything. You don't need their apology. Their loss is the apology. You don't need understanding. Self-respect is understanding. Walking away silently is choosing reality over potential. Now, after the exit, this is where power returns to you. Silence is not just a weapon, it's a cocoon. The energy you were bleeding comes back. You rebuild, not to be missed, but to be whole. Train your body, sharpen your mind, build your future. Not out of revenge, but out of alignment. They thought they buried you. They didn't realize you were planted. Here's the prediction. If you truly disappear, they will return. A text, an excuse, a test. This is where most men fail. Do not. Either ignore completely or respond with cold courtesy. No emotion, no curiosity, no opening. Polite indifference hurts more than hatred. You don't revisit burning buildings. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The fear of leaving is the fear of being alone, but nothing is lonelier than staying where you are unseen. Being alone with dignity is freedom. You don't ask permission to become who you are. You walk, and years later they will remember you. The one who didn't beg, the one who didn't break, the one who vanished, not because you tried to haunt them, but because you chose yourself. The silence begins now. Make the promise. I walk away to win myself. Delete the message, put the phone down, enter the void. That's where strength is forged. Walk away and don't look back.